Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my Treasure Rolls Octopus hard enamel pin. Now let's get into the design. One of my early pin designs that I released in 2018, that was my first full year in business, was a little black octopus holding a blue D20. Overall, it was a very popular pin design. It was nice and simple, good clean look. I restocked it several times with different colored D20s. I had a green one, a red one. The original was blue. I think I also had them in white. I had a very small number of orange made because my son loves the color orange. And overall, it was just a very popular pin design. Lots of people loved it. The problem was it also caught the attention of some bootleggers. So if you're not aware, a lot of the ultra cheap pins that you will find on Wish.com or Temu or AliExpress and those sorts of sites, and then you'll also find them really cheaply on eBay and Etsy and other places like that. If they're really cheap, chances are they are bootleg pins, which in this case basically means somebody took my design and decided to make a whole bunch of them super cheap, really poor quality, and sell them really cheaply. Now keep in mind, this is not typically the production partner that you work with that's doing this. This is someone else who saw the design online. It's not really hard to take a picture from a website and say, hey, I want to make a pin out of this. And that is in fact what those people did. And I know this for a fact because the bootleg version of that pin was slightly askew, and I found a photo that lined up with it perfectly. So like they literally did like some computer tracing of a photo of the pin that was at an angle, so their bootleg version of the pin was slightly askew compared to the real pins. So I say all that as a way to explain why my original D20 Octopus pin has been retired. You know, the bootleggers flooded the market with them, thousands of copies of that pin, really cheaply made, undercutting me by a significant portion. And people stopped buying my D20 Octopus in favor of buying something close enough for like $2. Close enough, they thought. I'm sure plenty of people upon getting those ultra cheap bootleg pins were like, oh, this is pretty much just trash. And probably a lot of them ended up in the trash, to be honest. But I still liked the idea of an octopus with a D20. So when I started doing my Treasure Rolls, Trash Rolls, and Nature Rolls pin designs, I just thought it would be a good time to reintroduce the concept of an octopus with a D20 into my collection of pins here. But my new style of animal D20 pins wasn't quite like my original octopus D20. That was just the animal in the D20. The new way that I'm designing these particular pins, I always have this triangle in the background, and I try to have like a setting around them. And so the idea for the setting for this octopus is that we're underwater, and he's found the D20, and he's also found a treasure chest that is full of gold coins. I believe the final version of this pin, he's also got a key for the treasure chest, which would explain why the treasure chest is open, showing all those gold coins. I've also got some seaweed in there, and for a little while I thought that I was going to have like some fish swimming by, but I decided against that. I've just felt like it made the pin design just a little too busy. I did end up adding a little white seashell though, and that's because the only place on this whole pin design where I used white was kind of like that sparkle reflection in the octopus's eye, and I was like, if I'm using the color white, I feel like there should be something else that's white in the pin other than just the reflection on the eye. So that's why we ended up with that little spiral seashell in the sand. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this pin design turned out. I'm not quite sure that these were the colors that I should have went with. I always second guess myself with colors. As you saw probably throughout this video, I was changing the color of the D20 and the octopus a fair bit, just trying to find what felt good. And the thing about that is there isn't necessarily like one color that's going to be the color. A lot of times there's a lot of combinations that I like, and I just kind of have to pick one because it would be too expensive to have like 20 different versions of a pin produced all at the same time. But when they sell well, that gives me an opportunity to go back and have them remade with different colors, so that can be fun. I still have a fair number of these left, so I don't know if I'll restock once these sell out, but it's always a possibility. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about why I made this design, even if the reason I made it's not so great. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead, like, and subscribe. I try to put out a new video once a week, and I would love to have you along for the next one. Thank you so much, and have a great day.